Hello, my name is Caitlin and welcome to my 2024 ranking book tier list. I saw everybody doing this last year and I thought, oh my god, that looks so much fun. So I decided to do it this year. I have my tier list here. I have 6 stars, which is, I think this book is obviously 6 stars. Then I have amazing, like this book is so amazing, but not 6 stars. Then I have, I like it a lot, you know, it's really good, but again, not amazing. And then I have, it's alright. It's alright. And then I have forgettable, because there are tons that I have forgotten. And then I have wish I DNF'd. I'm not going to be doing series on here because I feel like ranking every single book in a series was just going to take too long. I also am not sure if I have every single book on here. I tried to put every single book on here, but I don't know if some got lost on the way. Anywho, these are not in order, so let's just get started. The first one is The Door-to-Door Bookstore. I freaking loved that book. I thought it was really good. I just thought the dynamic with like the old man and the young girl it was really endearing and sweet. I wouldn't say it's 6 stars, but I would definitely recommend it. So I would say it's amazing. Amazing! Next is Peter Pan. It's a classic. It is a classic, but a classic that I'm going to choose to forget. I don't like the book. I genuinely don't. I don't even know if I like the Disney movie because I can't even remember the Disney movie at all. It's very forgettable and I just don't like the book. I honestly wish. People always compared the book and the movie and say like, oh, the book's so much darker. I wish it was even more dark. I wanted to see Peter murder someone. He didn't do that. He was close, but he didn't. And that's what disappointed me. Beach Read. It's alright. I didn't particularly love Beach Read. If you saw my end of the year book tag, you'll see more of my feelings on why. But I didn't particularly love Beach Read. I'm so sorry. Next is Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and we all know where that's going. 6 stars. I wonder if I should make these square. I feel like they're taking up a lot of room. I think I'm gonna make them square. Okay, I changed it to square images so it just takes up less space. But Before the Coffee Gets Cold is a 6 stars. I never shut up about it. Again, if you watched my end of the year book tag, you'll see how I never stopped talking. Next is Kappa. Again, I think it's alright. I truly do think it's alright. It was weird, absolutely unhinged weird book. Makes no sense. And it was silly for that, but it's not like something I would gravitate towards to read again, nor would I necessarily recommend it to people. But yeah, it's alright. Girl Abroad. I don't know whether I want to put it in Wish I DNF or forgettable, because to be honest, it is forgettable. But do I wish I DNF'd it? In a way, yes, because I personally did not like who she ended up with. I think she should have ended up with the other person, but that is a very unpopular opinion, apparently. And so I am glad that I know, I guess, who she ended up with in a way. Well, not really, because I do wish she ended up with the other one. I don't know. I'm going to say forgettable. I'm going to say forgettable and not wish I DNF'd, although sometimes I do. Diary of a Void. I don't remember a lot of this, but I wouldn't say it's a forgettable book. It's definitely something that will stick with you. So I think I'm going to put it in I like it a lot, but it's not my fave. Next is The Paper Princess. This book's really hard to rank simply because I enjoyed reading it because of I thought it was just so hilariously silly, and I'm gonna say I liked it a lot because I had a fun time reading it. But would I recommend this book to people? Not necessarily, but I did have a fun time reading it. I'm gonna have to put the Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels in forgettable. Cannot remember a single thing that happened in that book. I was forgetting stuff that was happening in the book whilst reading it. I was just like, this is so unique and not in a good way. It was very slow paced, and I felt like nothing was happening, yet too much was happening at once. So I'm going to put in forgettable because I can't remember a single thing about it. Next we have The Serpent in the Wings of Night. This was like one of my first 5-star. This was my first 5-star of the year. Obviously this is a duology, but I'm only going to be ranking the one. Well, they're both like together in one set. I'm going to say I like it a lot. Even though it was a 5 stars, I'm not going to put it in amazing because I can't really remember much of it. I don't know if it's just because it was just so long ago, but I just can't remember a single thing about it much. I don't even remember the main girl's name at all. Or the main guy's name for that matter. I really don't remember anything about it. I don't know why I gave it a 5 stars, but I did. And so that means I must have liked it while reading and had an enjoyable time, but not enough to put it in amazing. I feel bad about that. This is the Tokyo Express. It's alright. It's a mystery, and I'm just not a big mystery person in general anyways. So for me, this book kind of was a bit of a miss just because it's a mystery. But I do try to read mysteries because I'm hoping to get into more genres, obviously. And so I keep trying to give them chances, and it's just not very much working out for me. So I'm just gonna say it's alright. It was a good mystery if you like mysteries. I think. I have a hard time remembering a lot of the books I read this year for some reason. The Salt Grows Heavy. I'm gonna have to say I liked it a lot. I thought this book was really good. I shockingly loved the romance in it, even though it's a horror book. The romance was actually really sweet and like cute. But the horror aspect of it wasn't too scary. It was more of a gore kind of horror, but it was a little freaky. I'm not a big horror person in general. I cannot watch a horror movie, but I'm hoping to be able to read horror books or something. I don't know why. I like horror video games, but I don't like horror movies. Make it make sense. So I'm trying to find another horror genre that I might like. And books in this one was alright. I did like it a lot, but I wouldn't say it's like a favorite book of mine for sure. But I do feel like I can remember it, and I could explain the plot to someone if they asked, and I could recommend it to someone if they said they liked horror. I definitely think it is a good book if you like horror, especially gore. Most Ardently, I'm gonna say amazing. Like, I genuinely had a fun time reading this. I was having a hard time with romances whilst reading this, yet this one I was kind of flying through, while a lot of the other books I was starting to read, I was going at such a slow pace. So for me, this book was good. I was having a very good time while reading it, but it's not a 6 stars. I just think it's a really good book. I would definitely recommend it, and I think that the writing was amazing. And even though it is a romance, I wouldn't say it's like super reliant on the romance. Like, there could have been no romance in this, and I think it still would stand up to be a good book. Next is Virginia Woolf Flush. It's alright. I'm coming to notice that a lot of my classics are in It's Alright. I can't remember much of it. It's a biography of a dog named Flush. I think it was one of the Bronte sisters' dog. Was that it? I don't remember. Can't really remember, but I feel like it was one of the Bronte sisters' dogs. It's somewhere back there. I don't know. Don't hold me to that. It was good. I love dogs, so that's why I read it. I didn't particularly love it while reading. I had to end up listening to the audiobook because I was having such a hard time reading it. Like, for some reason, it was like putting me to sleep, and I just felt like it wasn't exactly the type of dog biography I would like to read. I don't know what I expected of it, but it wasn't what delivered, you know? I think it's a really cool concept. I would just like to see it written in a different way, maybe, personally. Next is The Taking of Jake Livingston. That's gonna have to go in forgettable. can't remember a single thing about it. I'm so sorry. It's another horror book. And it's a YA horror book, so it was not scary at all. I don't know if that's because it's YA or it just wasn't really scary. It is a paranormal horror, and it didn't get me. I didn't feel the chills. I just forgot all about it while reading it too. That's another one where I was just like, what happened a few pages earlier? This is another one I also had to end up listening to on audiobook because I was just like, it was so painstakingly hard for me to get through it for some reason. I was just like, I could not read it. Anywho, sorry. I wish you all the best. I'm gonna go in I like it a lot. I like that book a lot. I thought it was good. The romance was sweet and stuff. It's not a favorite, but it was good and it was sweet. I don't know what else to explain about it. A Far Wilder Magic. I'm gonna go in I like it a lot. I thought the romance was very romantic, but it's definitely a very slow book. So if you don't really like it, can't really recommend it. And I think I tend to like slow books a bit more, honestly, especially when it comes to romance. But this one also was supposed to be kind of a fantasy, but the fantasy element is just not really there. It's an alchemy fantasy, and it's just, I get lost. I got really, really lost in all the alchemy talk. And I feel like that's why it's not higher up. Animal Farm. I have a hard time figuring out where to place this because I simply just, one, I can't really remember it because I read it in the very beginning of the year. And two, like, I feel like it's definitely a book you need to read, but it just wasn't, like, fun for me to read in a way. Sometimes it was. Other times, it was just like I was getting a little lost. I'm gonna put it in It's Alright. Again, a lot of my classics are going in there. It's not good. I hope I find a good classic this year. But Animal Farm, I think, is a good book to read. I think you need to read. But I was getting very lost. Yeah, that's about it. So this is Ruin and Rising. This is my one and only, like, kind of end of a series because I read this one this year, but I read the rest of the series last year. So that's why this one's like the only one that's like a separate part of the series. I liked Ruin and Rising. I did not like the rest of the trilogy, but for some reason I liked Ruin and Rising a lot. I liked the first book about like a 4-star, and then the second book I was just like not in it. I was like, this is just not for me. So I took a pause on reading the last book for a very long time. And then finally when I got back into it, I was like, wait, this book is actually kind of good. And I gave it a high rating because I actually enjoyed my time while reading it a lot. So I'm going to put in a like it a lot. Actor Age Eve Brown. I would say I liked it a lot. I definitely had a lot of fun while reading it. I thought it was really cute and stuff. And this was probably one of my favorite romances that I read of the year. It's not anything extraordinary, you know, I hate to say, but it was really cute. One Little Mistake. Absolutely forgettable. I could not tell you a single thing about this book. Not one. Not one little mistake could I tell you about this book. All I know is that it was a mystery or thriller. I don't. Alright. Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. I cannot believe that I read this year because I couldn't tell you a thing about it, honestly. But I don't want to say forgettable because I didn't dislike it. I just don't really remember much of it. I'm gonna have to, I think I'll put it in I like it a lot because I do remember enjoying reading it and I thought it was really cute. I like Ali Hazelwood. I like her books and I remember enjoying this while reading it, but right now I could not tell you anything about it. Mother of Strangers. I'm gonna put that in amazing. I think this book is another one where you need to read it. You kind of have to. It is very important in what's going on right now with Palestine. It is a very important book to read. So yeah, I think it's amazing and I think you should read it. Betting on You. Again, Oh Wow, I cannot remember a single thing about Betting on You. I'm gonna put it in forgettable because at least with like Love on the Brain, I feel like I can remember the vibes, but I can't remember anything about Betting on You. I remember liking it, like I said, but I don't even remember the vibes of it. Oh my god. I have a really bad memory, honestly. So maybe doing a tier list is not the thing for me to do. Stolen Heir. I'm gonna go with Amazing. I love the Folk of the Air like world. I find these books very easy to just keep going and reading. I don't know why. I just love them. I can read one book within like a day or two and I just really enjoy it. I don't think the Stolen Heir series is as good as the original like Cruel Prince series, but I still do really enjoy this. I enjoy reading Oak's story and I just think they're really fun. Like I just enjoy this world so much. The world building's really good and I just love it. I don't know. For Untouchable, I'm gonna have to go for Forgettable. I can't remember a single thing about it. I think I wanted to DNF that, but I didn't. And I just can't remember why at all. The Murder Game. I'm gonna say I like it a lot. This is a murder mystery that I actually kind of like. It's a typical like dinner time murder mystery and it's so funny and so I like actually enjoyed it. And I was able to guess who it was, but I still found it like utter shock and horror at who it was. I thought it was so funny. I don't know. I really liked it. Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murders is gonna go for 6 stars. This book was so good. I loved it. I absolutely love Vera Wong. I think she was so fun to read about. And the audiobook was also really good. This is, I can't read. I think First Dates and Mooncakes, I think is what it's called. I'm going to put it in It's Alright. This was the very first book I actually read this year. So it's hard to remember. But I actually do remember some. I remember not really liking that they were in high school. I thought the themes and some of the stuff these high schoolers were talking about, and I know high schoolers talk about this stuff, but I, as a 23-year-old, don't want to listen to high schoolers talk about this stuff. I thought what they were talking about was a little mature, and I felt like if they were in college, it would have been a little less awkward for me to read. But anyways, yeah, that was like my only complaint about this book. Otherwise, I actually did really enjoy it. Gwen and Art Not in Love, amazing. Maybe even a 6 stars. Is it a 6 stars? Now, I'm just gonna stick to amazing. I'm picky with my 6 stars, alright? I'm picky. Gwen and Art Not in Love, an amazing romance. I had a lot of fun. It's like a Gwen and Arthurian retelling. Is that what it's called? Like Arthur and like Gwyneth. I don't know. I don't remember. It's an Arthurian retelling and I thought it was really cute. I had a lot of fun while reading it and I even like laughed out loud multiple times while reading it. I thought it was so funny. So I really liked it. Next we have Her Fixer Upper. Wish I DNF'd. I didn't like it. I was reading it and I was like, I want to DNF this book. That's all I could think of. I think it was like, can't even remember it, honestly. So if I didn't put it in Wish I DNF'd, I would have put it in Forgettable. I think that I thought it was boring. I don't know what my problem was with this book, but I didn't like it. I do remember wanting to DNF it. The Folly. This one's a mystery. I can't really remember much about it, but I do remember actually kind of being into the story. Like I was like, I kind of want to know what happens. But I don't think I liked the ending. I thought it was kind of bad. Like the setup of it and the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna get crazy. And then I can't remember the end at all. So maybe it wasn't that crazy. The Secret Book Club. I'm gonna have to go with Amazing. Again, I'm gonna be stingy with my 6 stars. I'm so sorry. But that's another one that's really close to 6 stars. I Very much enjoyed this book. The romance in it was cute, but it wasn't like, again, this is another book that can stand on its own without the romance within it. I thought the secret book club of the story was really interesting aspect of it. And I loved the main girl character. She was amazing and so fun to read about. Kiss Me at Christmas. I'm gonna put I like it a lot. I thought this was actually, this book like saved me recently. I was like, I don't like rom-coms anymore. But this one I actually genuinely enjoyed. I wouldn't say it was like amazing, right? I didn't put it in there, but I did think it was really good. And I thought the romance in it was quite mature, except for the third act conflict. That's a whole nother story. But I thought the romance in it was very mature. So I think I liked reading about this. And the romance was slow. The romance didn't happen within the first 4 chapters. It was very slow. And like, it wasn't the whole, oh, I don't know if he loves me or not. They know they liked each other. They were just choosing to take it slow. And oh, I loved it. I was like, that's so good. Thank you. Next is The Christmas Party. I listened to this on, this is an audiobook. This is an Audible original. And I saw the reviews for this and a lot of people didn't like it. I kind of did. I'm going to put I like it a lot. Like, I was really into it. I kept wanting to listen to it. I kept wanting to put it on and just listen to what was happening. And the audiobook was so good. I really liked the narrator. There was like at least 7 or 8 different characters, yet I could distinguish which one was which, even though there was only one narrator. I felt like she was just so good at it. Personally. Next is Skin of the Sea. It's alright to me. This book I went through just so slowly for some reason, but I was so excited to read it. It's an African folklore book about mermaids, and I was like, yeah, I'm all for that. Especially because I read it in the summer, so I was like, oh, mermaids, perfect. A fantasy I can read in the summer. But I just found a hard time. I found it like really slow to read, and so it was a little disappointing. But I still am going to read the second one. I still do care about what happens. Prince and the Dressmaker. This one could potentially be a 6 stars. I very much enjoy it. It reminds me a lot of Princess Jellyfish, like the manga, and that is one of my favorite mangas. So I feel like at some point in life it could, I feel like if I reread it, it might could jump to a 6 stars. But for right now, it's just gonna be an amazing. I really enjoyed this graphic novel. I thought it was like really cute. And the art style, mwah, beautiful, gorgeous. I love it. Confetti Realms, I'm gonna put in It's Alright. I felt like the story ended in such a weird spot, and I also feel like it was just a little rushed. I feel like if they made the book longer, it would have been much better. And that was my only issue with it, honestly. The drawings, beautiful. The storyline was good. It just needed to be longer. Next is Six of Crows. I didn't particularly like Six of Crows, but I did like the second book in the, my memory. This is what I'm talking about. I don't know. I didn't particularly like Six of Crows, but I like the second book in the movie. Oh my god. I still can't think of what the second book is called. Whatever. I didn't particularly like Six of Crows, but I did like the second book in the series, which I can't remember the name of for some reason. I gave the second book a 5 stars, but I did give the first one, I think, only 4 or 3.5. I'm going to put it in amazing because I do think the series within a whole is amazing, and I would definitely recommend it to people. And I even want to reread Six of Crows to see if like my opinion has differed. I thought it was really good and I loved it. Magnolia Parks. I'm just gonna put in It's Alright. I don't like cheating. This book would have been over for me in 2 pages. I don't do cheating. I do kind of, like, everyone cries at these books, like, within, like, I think it's, like, the last one, everyone's, like, really, like, sobbing at this book. So I'm, like, very curious on what the fuck happens, but not curious enough to actually read it. That's why it goes in It's Alright, because I don't think I care enough to read a 800-page book about a cheater. I don't. I hope the camera angle hasn't changed. If it has, I'm so sorry. I had to change my SD card. Anywho, I was on Plot Twist. This can go straight into Wish I DNF. I did not like this. I was so angry during reading this. All I wanted to do was DNF it, but I was like, I need to give it a chance. I have to give it a chance. If I don't give it a chance, what am I? A quitter? Yes, I should have been. I should have been a quitter. This book made me so mad. Can't remember why. I cannot remember why, but I remember my feelings. I remember being so angry at this book and hating it so much. That was before I got into DNFing. Now, you're gone so quick. I DNF like crazy now. The Throne of the Fallen, I really enjoyed. I would say it's amazing. I had a fun time while reading it. I do like these stories. The Kingdom of the Wicked, I think, is the first one. I'm very into, like, stories about, like, the 7 Deadly Sins. I don't know why. They just always, like, get me. I always enjoy them. And he was one of my favorite. I think Envy, right? Envy was, like, one of my favorites in the original series. I was just like, that's my man. And so when this book came out, I was just like, yes, my man is back. So yeah, I did quite enjoy that one. Gods of Jade and Shadow, I'm gonna put in, I liked it a lot. I had a fun time while reading this. I thought the romance in it was actually quite cute. And I thought the mythology in it was really interesting. As someone who doesn't really know Mexican mythology, it was really cool to see. And I want to read more. What Happens After Midnight? Forgettable. I can't remember a single thing from this. I just remember while reading it, I wasn't particularly enjoying it, and I was like deciding, do I want to DNF or do I not? But at least I did get through it. I did. And I thought, yeah, it's alright. Maybe I should do It's Alright then. You know, I'll move it up to It's Alright. It's not that forgettable. And last but not least, Ali Hazelwood's Checkmate. I'm going to have to go for It's Alright. I didn't love this Ali Hazelwood. I don't remember much of it, and I just remember being like, that was a good book when I finished. Yeah, it was a good book. Here is my tier ranking. I kind of knew it was going to look like this. I did kind of feel like when reminiscing on my past books of the year, I remember thinking, I feel like I read a lot of, it's okay books. And yeah, I did. That is definitely the most that are in here is Alright, and I like it a lot. Those are my two, like, kind of 3 to 4 star range books, and I definitely feel like that was the majority of what I read this year. I hope next year I can find more 6 stars, because having only 2 is quite sad. But at least there are quite a few amazings, and not as many Wish I DNFs as I thought there would be. So I am quite glad with this, and I'm glad I read all of them, except for those 2 down there. I do hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in my next video. Please leave a like and subscribe if you did. If you watched till the end, please leave down below the orange emoji, because it is Mikan season here in Japan, and this is my favorite season. I've already eaten probably like 2 whole bowls of these so far. So yeah, I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.